Hi there, I'm Jen Kitzmiller with the National Weather Service in Missoula, and I have your winter weather planning briefing for December 29th. So we are looking at a very active weather pattern going into this week. A few of the highlights of some things that we're keeping an eye on include strong winds and some heavy mountain snow, and then periods of snow and possibly some freezing rain in some of our valleys. So here's a look at the current satellite imagery, and I would like to draw your attention to this area of green and blue colors, kind of elongated here through the Pacific. This is an area of subtropical moisture that's going to be directed into central Idaho and western Montana in this Tuesday into Wednesday time frame, and then it actually looks like we'll get another push of moisture from this same area as we go into the Friday time frame. So this looks like it's going to be one of our big weather players here as we go through the week. Now some of that moisture is going to start making its way into the area on Tuesday, which will result in some light snow, especially across northwest Montana and north central Idaho. However, at this point the amounts associated with that don't look overly strong. They look fairly light. So I'm going to focus on this Tuesday night into Wednesday time frame because that's really when that main surge of moisture I showed you starts to work into the area. So as that occurs, we're going to expect to see some heavy mountain snow across especially north central Idaho, northwest Montana, and west central Montana. And then we will see a transition where valleys will largely start out as snow, and then they may mix in with some freezing rain by early Wednesday morning, and then transitioning for the most part over to rain by Wednesday afternoon and evening. There's also going to be some breezy winds with this system as well. So here's a more detailed look as far as forecasted amounts go with this particular system. Starting with north central Idaho, Lolo Pass looks like it's going to be one of the hardest hit areas. You can see anywhere from 12 to 18 inches looks possible. Some of the higher valleys, Elk River, Grangeville, Elk City, are expected to see some snowfall accumulations as well. There's a little bit more of a question mark for some of the lowest valleys such as Orofino, Lowell, where the snow level at this point looks like it may stay just high enough to keep some accumulations from occurring, but it wouldn't take much of a change to bring snow down into those areas as well. So here's a look at the timing graphics. Lolo Pass, it looks like the most intense snow is going to be in that Tuesday night into Wednesday morning time frame, where you'll see a pretty heavy period of snowfall as expected. Then the intensities decrease as we go into Wednesday afternoon and evening, but still accumulating at a pretty steady rate there. It does look like as we get into Thursday morning, those intensities should back off, although we will see snow continuing. And then here's a look at Grangeville. Mainly any of those accumulations would come Tuesday night and Wednesday morning early, but you will see temperatures are expected to go above freezing. So especially as we get into that Wednesday afternoon time frame, we aren't expecting to see any further accumulations. Northwest Montana, Essex to MariasPass is one of the heaviest hit areas with 6 to 8 inches possible, but I also will draw your attention to the Highway 2 corridor from roughly Happy's Inn over to Kalispell, and then also Highway 93 from Whitefish up to Olney, Dickey Lake areas, where those areas could see anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow. Further west, Troy, Libby, you're going to be right on that bubble of snow levels. So, at this point we don't have any snow accumulations in for Troy, but again, it would take only a very small change in snow levels to actually bring maybe an inch or two of snow into Troy as well. So overall, most areas across western Montana should see some snowfall in this time frame. Timing graphics, so here I'm going to start with Kalispell. Again, the most intense snow looks like it'll be, and the best chance for accumulating snow looks like it'll be Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. This 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. time frame is where we may see some light freezing rain starting to mix in before temperatures warm up enough that by Wednesday afternoon any further precipitation should be rain. And then here's a look at MariasPass. Similar trend here where that Tuesday evening into the overnight time frame looks like where we're going to see the most intense snowfall. Moving south into west central Montana, Lookout Pass, you're going to be seeing very similar amounts to what we're expecting for Lolo Pass, anywhere from 12 to 18 inches. As we get down into some of the lower valleys along I-90 and even into the Missoula Valley, we're only expecting about an inch or two of snow. But you will see further east out towards Seeley Lake, Ovando, Greeno, there's a bit more snow in the forecast. Here's a look at the timing graphic for Lookout Pass, and again that Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning looks like when we're going to see the highest intensity snow, and then it gradually tapers off through the day Wednesday into Wednesday night, although as I mentioned we will likely see some light snow continuing into Thursday. And then Missoula looks very similar to Kalispell, where we get maybe about an inch of snow Tuesday night and then snow transitioning to some freezing rain Wednesday morning. But again, then by Wednesday afternoon, those temperatures warm up enough that it shouldn't be a problem anymore. It should change over to rain. Southwest Montana and Lemhi County, you guys miss the primary surge of moisture with this, so that's not to say you won't see snowfall, but it doesn't look quite as intense as further north. Nevertheless, Lost Trail Pass, it does look like you could still see 8 inches up to a foot of snowfall, but for the most part, most locations and even valleys will just see some light snow, so the impacts with this particular system just don't look to be quite as strong in that area. Timing graphics, GeorgetownLake, here's a look. Again, the timing looks like it's shifted maybe just a little bit later on when you have the best chance of seeing some accumulating snow. It's more so in that Wednesday morning time frame. And we'll see similar things for Lost Trail Pass, where the more intense snow is actually focused on that Wednesday morning time frame versus starting Tuesday evening like we saw in most other locations. So as I mentioned, on Thursday, the snowfall will likely continue, but it should kind of weaken and become lighter with time. And then our next surge of moisture comes in Friday into Saturday. And this one has some potential to again see some heavy mountain snow. I'd say we feel fairly confident that that's going to occur. One of the areas that we have a little more question is how much warm air is going to surge into the area. Some of our models are showing more than others. So the snow levels and particularly precipitation type and amounts in the valleys is a little bit more questionable at this point, and that really is just going to depend on how much warm air moves into the region. Another thing that we're watching for the Friday-Saturday storm, some of our models are showing potential for some strong, possibly even damaging winds in this time frame. And just to show you an animation of what that might look like, this is one of our forecast models, the GFS model, and what it thinks winds might look like Friday afternoon. And so you'll see the surge of wind from eastern Washington kind of directed up into the Idaho Panhandle and particularly northwest Montana, maybe as far south as Missoula. We've looked at a few analogs of storms from the past that had similar signatures to this one coming in on Friday. And there have been reports in the past of some damaging winds under similar patterns. So while we don't have a lot of confidence in that occurring at this point, it's something that we're concerned with and we'll be keeping an eye on. So looking at our weather impact, weather threat matrix, you'll see again we've got that Wednesday and Friday time frame is kind of the main times that we're highlighting. We went ahead and highlighted the Friday time frame in red for northwest and west central Montana on Friday, and that's just due to the potential with this storm where we could have some pretty nasty conditions between the wind and potential for snow. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We're always happy to help answer anything that we can. Otherwise, we will plan to do another briefing on Tuesday. Thanks and hope you have a great week.